Hey, I tell you what, it was an accident that I found out about this bloke because this man's daughter-in-law is a friend of the show, Alex Thomas, and I was talking to Alex the other day, and she said, "Yeah, my father-in-law's just given up doing some work. He is the scorer at the Adelaide Oval." And I thought to myself, there's a story in that. His name is Mick Harper, and he's on the telephone. Hello, Mick.
Good morning, lads. How are we?
Doing well. You've got Neil here. The other one you've already spoken to is Rob.
Welcome, Mick. Love cricket, love the Adelaide Oval. Just talking to you off air about the incredible sporting precinct that your state government and others have created over there for both football and cricket. But the Adelaide Oval Test match, I reckon, is just about as popular for Victorians as the MCG Boxing Day Test. People love going over there to take in your fair city, and you get to sit in one of the best seats. How good is that?
Oh, absolutely. It's certainly the best seat in the house when the cricket game's on, and I think, unashamedly, I reckon the best Test match Australia can put on when they do it at Adelaide Oval. It's a real social event.
So you've given it away now, the official scorer. Take us back to the first time that you scored in a game of cricket. I mean, not as in with your bat. I mean, as in with a pencil and a rubber and a scorebook. It's not the easiest thing in the world to pick up. How long ago was that?
Well, it started when my son started playing cricket, so primary school stuff, probably back in the late 1990s. And then essentially, while he was at school, scored some games for him, and then followed him into when he started playing cricket at a Premier Cricket Club here in Adelaide, Sturt. So through the juniors, and then progressed through the ranks up to Premier Cricket A grade. So I've been doing it ever since then. I played a bit of, amateur cricket as a bloke, and I enjoyed it, love the game, and so the scoring was just another way of staying involved and being a part of a team.
From the old days when I played, the players would be the scorers as well, and it was a pretty rough book, but the modern scorebook requiring different colours and counting balls and all sorts of other stuff, it is something that you cannot at any stage lapse in concentration. Were you always good at focusing on tasks?
Yeah, I am. I'm not sure why, but I've learned, I suppose, to be able to concentrate for long periods of time and just pick up on the small nuances of the game as it goes along. So, as you say, I mean, every ball is recorded one way or another on our cards, so we do have to concentrate really closely every step of the way. So every minute of the day is taken up recording something.
Because Rob was saying off air before he rang you that, of course, in Adelaide there's nothing else to concentrate on. So, no, he didn't know.
I don't mean that at all. In fact, the exact opposite.
So, I mean, my involvement with scoring in cricket is a big sort of double A4 size, better be A3 then, wouldn't it? Sort of green book that you basically had all the batters at the top and the bowlers at the bottom. Are you fundamentally using the same technology at international level?
Yeah, exactly. The scorecard we use actually like single sheet scorecards, so that split up so that there's batters on the front and bowlers on the back and all that sort of stuff. So, but they're essentially the same set out, just with a lot more detail involved as you would see in a scorebook. So it's not a lot different. I mean, certainly there's a component nowadays of electronic scoring as well, so you've got to become proficient in the electronic programs that Cricket Australia want us to use. But I personally prefer using the cards. I think that seeing a really neat, tidy scorecard at the end of a game is, quite a good achievement.
Now, neat and tidy is an interesting question. I imagine when you started way back at school level, you had the little triangular box that you had to record the 6 deliveries for the over. I was thinking of you people recently when a young player at the Geelong Cricket Club took a wicket with the second ball of the first over, and after the 12th wide was delivered on top of that, before the over was finally completed. So there was actually 18 deliveries in the first over, including a wicket. That triangle's under a fair bit of pressure, Mick.
Mate, it's under a lot of pressure. I'm glad that certainly at first class and international level we don't get that happening too often, but I've had the odd occasional sort of 9, 10, 11 ball overs, but generally speaking, 6 will do.
It's a dumb question, and Rob's probably the only one who's old enough to remember this, Mick. Back in the olden days, you used to have 8 ball overs all the time. Was the scorebook different? Like, did it have more space? So you had to squeeze 8 in every over?
Yep.
Yeah, no, you had to squeeze the 8 dots in every over. So, that's when I first started. It was 8 balls at over, and then it changed to 6. So, yeah.
Because as a bowler, there were very, very few dot balls against my name. They generally involved numbers. So, there wouldn't have been a lot of space.
No, there's not. No, I mean, they do make you work hard. I mean, the equipment that I use is very, very fine point. So it allows us to, fit them in a little bit easier. I mean, certainly the old big, black and blue pen doesn't do it anymore. You need quite fine-pointed biros or pens to use.
Mick, before you started to score for your son, were you a mad cricket lover, and does scoring take away your ability to really enjoy the game?
I think it actually enhances it. I mean, I struggle to sit and just watch a game of cricket. I've got to be doing something, and I found that by scoring, I can actually really concentrate closely on the game. So the scoring part, I think, was easy for me, and it allows me to be, to watch the game a lot closer than if I'm just sitting there as a spectator.
Now, it's interesting. We have in Melbourne, we have the what they now call Premier. Back in the olden days, we called it District. And the next level down is Sub-District. And there was a fellow that I knew, he's sadly no longer with us. He used to score for one of the Sub-District clubs. And I made mention to him one day, what happens when the pen runs out of ink? And he looked at me as though I'd asked him to dance. And he said, "Pen? I beg your pen? You only score in pencil." Now, you've made reference to a particular brand of ballpoint pen. Are you a pen scorer or a pencil scorer?
No, pen. Only pens. I have 4 different colours that I use, and they're, as I said, it's a .38 size point, so it's very, very fine. But yeah, I only ever use ink. Well, I think it's gel ink, I think they call it. But
okay.
I must shout out to my lovely sister Judy, who years ago was the first person to bring coloured into the scorebooks, and each bowl, she used to have 10 or 11 different colours for different things, and each bowler had a certain colour, so you could look at the batting chart and work out how many runs a particular batsman had scored off the particular ball. It was fascinating to see it all displayed, and it makes reading the scorebook so much more enjoyable. So is that one of the joys for you, Mick, that people can actually really follow the game in much more detail looking at your scorebook?
Yeah, well, hopefully they can, yes. And that's the intention of it all, is the colours sort of dictate, what's happened between bowler and batter, and allows you to see all that unfold on a piece of paper. We have what we call a running sheet, so that it's like a second scoring. I think some people call it a linear scorebook, and we record on that as well as the scorecard. And that the running sheet or the linear scorecard is actually a lot more detailed, and you can reconstruct the whole game from that as opposed to the scorecard.
When a wicket falls, you really have to spring to life, because there's a hell of a lot needs to go on at that particular point. And I think the reason I asked before, do you get a chance to appreciate the game as such? Because sometimes there's been a great bit of bowling or maybe a magnificent catch. You really want to take the moment in, but you have got a lot of work to do at that point.
That's right. I mean, and a lot of times, you actually do miss some of the highlights of the game because you're actually recording. And as you say, with a wicket, you don't get the chance to sort of sit back and have a look at the replay. You're frantically filling in all the right spaces and putting in the new batters and working out who the fielder was, all those sorts of things. So, yeah, that it becomes quite hectic, and that's where you're working a pair, and so if one is doing the manual recording, your partner then can commentate the game to you so that you don't miss anything out. So it's really a crucial part of working together as a team because, as you say, in that moment, and occasionally, certainly in T20 cricket, that you might have 2 or 3 wickets in an over right near the end when it's all getting a bit helter-skelter. That's really difficult to keep up with.
So when the strikers are up against the Stars at the Adelaide Oval, are there 2 scorers, one from the Stars and one from the strikers, or are they? Is it home ground advantage in terms of the scoring work?
Yeah, each state appoints their own a pair of scorers to score in that state. So we don't actually travel. The teams don't have their own independent scorers that travel with teams, etc. It used to happen many years ago.
Yeah.
But now each state just appoints 2 official scorers, and we score together at the game. So most of the time for the whole year, it's just the 2 of us that do most of the matches.
Which I guess then helps the teamwork thing work better because you're not having to introduce yourself to a new bloke every week.
Oh, absolutely, yeah. And I mean, I've been scoring with Neil Ricketts now for close on 15 years, and Neil and I are sort of pretty good mates, and we just know each other really well, and we just know that when things happen, one of us steps in and does whatever we have to do, and the other then can just continue on. So, yeah, we've become a bit of an old married couple.
So I'm assuming he's got a T-shirt that reads on the front of it, Neil Ricketts gets the wicket.
Yes.
Conversely to that too, Mick, going back to your Sturt days when you don't know who's going to be coming to score with you, maybe some days 6 hours sitting beside someone that isn't all that good a company can take a little bit of the gloss off the day.
Well, it does, yes. There are, you strike up relationship over a period of time with some people, and some are good and some are bad. So
that's the basis of this program.
It is the base of this program. Must shout out to Geelong Cricket Club Steph Shaw, who started off very similarly to Mick, just fill in, got to love it, scores for the Geelong Premier Firsts, and has scored at the MCG, and I believe in a test match as well, so she's taken the same path for you. And I suppose, like umpires, Mick, did you get to the stage where it became really enjoyable and you did want to be as good as you could be at it and pursued it as a sort of a career?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, it's certainly over the last, 4 or 5 years, I've spent a lot of time developing some training packages for up-and-coming scorers so that we can try and lift the profile because, I think it's one of the most important parts of the game. Between the scorers and the umpires, you sort of act as that third team, and that's the part that I like, is that you build relationships as well with the umpires, and you work together, you look for their little non-verbal cues out on the ground to help you score and things like that. So, yes, you do come to enjoy it a lot more the further and deeper you go into it.
Mick, I'm glad you brought that up, that you're supporting it, because I've, for a long time now, been very critical of the governing bodies that don't spend enough money developing the other crafts rather than just chasing the elite cricketers. The team managers, the umpires and scorers is another one of those, that young kids who love the game and love the atmosphere of a cricket club, but because they don't make the elite player list, they are quite often lost to the game because there's no reason for them to be around. And I'd like to see more investment in maybe people like yourself bringing on the next wave and actually teaching youngsters that scoring the game of cricket is actually very enjoyable.
Oh, it is. And as I alluded to, I mean, you become a team within a team, so to speak. So you are actually the third team. You have the 2 opposition playing teams, then the umpires and the scorers are that third team, and if we can build up that relationship and camaraderie, then you do feel a lot more important, and that's what we've been trying to improve in South Australia here, so that, as you say, that the kids that don't make the premier grade aren't lost to cricket altogether, and that there is another path that can take you to the elite level, so to speak, and you end up being involved like me at test level, international level, etc., etc. So yeah, that's what we're trying to achieve here, is so that we don't lose some of those young players to the game.
So with an umpire and a coach, I know Cricket Australia has accreditation programs. Is there a similar accreditation program for scorers?
Well, we've developed one in South Australia. There's not one being developed yet. We're trying to get Cricket Australia to be a little more, proactive in that area. But certainly in South Australia, we've developed some accreditation levels where there's basically 3 levels of scoring, which is sort of club and community, then Premier Cricket, and then state and international level. So you go through different training regimes to be able to achieve that. We do what we call competency-based, so you have to be able to prove at each level that you're able to score at that level. So that's a part of what we're doing in South Australia, which I'm not sure that many other states do at the moment. It's just something that we're trying here to, again, make scorers a little more, appreciated and important in the game.
And good on you for that, and I wish you well with it, and hopefully it becomes infectious across the country, because it is much needed. So, Mick, the pencils are back in the little bag. You put your feet up. Are you going to continue?
Doesn't use pencils, he uses pens.
Oh, pens, sorry, pens. Yeah. Pens go in the bag.
Listen.
Are you going to sit back and enjoy the game a bit more now?
Yeah, certainly. I'm still heavily involved at my local club, Sturt. There's a group of us old retired life members. We go out and mow ovals and roll cricket pitches and get things ready for Saturday's cricket. So we do that every Friday. So that will continue throughout the year. My wife loves cricket as well. So instead of me going and scoring and her not sort of attending it much, we'll get along to a few more games now because we're members of SACA. So we will just enjoy the game a bit by watching. So yeah, that's basically what it'll be. I just love the game as much as anything. So I want to stay involved as long as I can.
Well, Mick, we are very appreciative of your time. I know you cut short an event last night so that you were in a fit state to talk to us this morning, so thank you for doing that.
That's dedication. Good on you, Mick.
Before we let you go, though, there is one aspect of scoring that you probably don't get involved in at the international, nor indeed the state level, but there is one thing that every scorer has done, and I'm going to ask you to give us your best version of it. Bowler's name?
Yes, we don't get to do that.
Yeah, well, come on, let's hear your bowler's name. We've got to be. You've got to do that for us.
Scream that out at some matches, yeah. Particularly when the wind's blowing in your face. Oh, there's been some hilarious stuff around that, and I guess you would have had a bit of that in your early days.
Yeah, absolutely. Particularly when you're doing junior cricket. You might know your son's name and a couple of other lads, but yes, and bowler's name.
we had a fella played with us years ago from Thailand, and as you'd be familiar, the folk from Thailand have got names that have got about 14 alphabets in each part of the name. And the bloke, you'd hear, bowler's name, across the ground, and we turn around and go, Smith, because we weren't going to spend the next 25 minutes explaining it, and we would then go back and change the book a little bit later on. Mick, it's been great to make your acquaintance and another member of the family. It's nice to meet you, and we look forward to maybe sitting down at Sturt one day with a cool drink on a warm afternoon, having a chat.
Mate, I'd love that. Yes, anytime you're in town, look us up because I'll show you around. So there's some great spots.
Sounds like a plan. Thanks, Mick. Mick Harper, the man who has been scoring at the Adelaide Oval for the last few years. Good on you, mate. All the best.
Thanks, Mick.
Thanks, lads.